Pax8 Beyond 2025. What an event. Third year they've had it. I've had the great pleasure of being there for all three. This one was the biggest. It was over 3,400 total attendees, 2,400 partner registrations, like over 40 breakouts and over 40 education sessions. It was, the entertainment was fantastic. Snoop Dogg came out and performed. It was a really, really great event. Podcast was there, of course. We had a whole podcasters row. I think there was 10 of us. It was fantastic. It was done very, very well. I was able to, me and my team, we conducted 24 interviews, had 24 great conversations there in Denver. Kathleen Lord, lessons from the saddle, grit, growth, and tech insight. Great conversation with Kathleen. Aaron Pederick, yes, coaching cybersecurity and real life comebacks. Fascinating story Aaron has. Shlomi, of course, I've known Shlomi Jan for a little while now. Really insightful. Really like talking to Shlomi. Kim Simmons, my goodness, what such energy, such life. I hope to be working more with her and her team. They were gracious enough to invite me to a dinner. It was they've got a great product, smarter. The name of the episode is Creativity Meets Contracts. Colin Britton, of course, Formula One to Intune. Great partner there. Colin, great conversation with Intune with his great platform. Marco LaVecchia, data, purpose, and the MSP playbook. Great conversation with Marco. Rex Frank, my old friend. I've known Rex for, 15, 20 years. He's there at Pax8. Really knowledgeable. Learned some things about him I didn't know during our conversation. Oh my goodness, Lorna Berman. What a delight. What an absolute delight to talk to Lorna and her team riding Malibu and running MSP ops. She's got a horse named Malibu, but great insight, great platform they had there too. Tom Harshbarger. My goodness, I've known Tom since he was at Microsoft about 20 years. Now he's with this great firm, Metallica, misconfigs and mindset. We talk a lot about that. Great conversation with Tom. Lewis, of course, Begdanis from Uvilla. Great conversation. I start off with cooking. I like to cook, and he does too. Meatball Mindset and MSP projects. Darren Swan, great conversation with Darren. I've known Darren for a little while now. Enjoyed talking to him. Opened the conversation with Vinyl, Espresso, and Cyber Trust. Pinar, yes, I love speaking with Pinar. Pickleball, Possums and Proactive Security. Great conversation with Pinar, CEO of that great firm. Tanya, of course, got to know Tanya. We had a great conversation on the phone before we met there and had the conversation in Denver. Tanya Alfonso from Kitchen to Cybersecurity. Damo, I love talking to Damo, of course, from Super Ops. Barbells and AI for MSPs. Great conversation with Demo. Charlie Tomeo. I've known Charlie for 15, 20 years now. Great talking. We talk about, phishing and MSP automation, the great Rewst platform. Ryan Etteridge, Black Belts and CyberCert. Great conversation with Ryan. Fascinating insight. The martial arts plays on people's lives. Joe Saunders, cigars, securities, and self-reflection. Great conversation with Joe. Rob Ray, been in the community for, I've known him since he was even before Dado, fellow Connecticut resident. Great talking to Rob. He's doing great things there as vice president there at Pax8. Drew Schlessel, of course, great talking about their Wasabi platform. We actually became a partner as well. The platform is so good. Chance Weaver, AI adoption. He's there at Pax8 talking about his great story and how he got there, but he's working on AI adoption at Pax8. Christopher Marquez. I've had the good pleasure of knowing Christopher for a little while now. We talk about Chile, coaching and cyber threats. Really great insight from Christopher. Chris Day, been in the, my goodness, I've known him since, from IT Glue all the way where he is now at ScalePad, been in the system for a long, been in the channel, the community for a long time. Gene Kim, surfboard, security, and staying operational. Enjoyed talking to Gene. I had the chance to meet him at ConnectWise Secure. And lastly, Ken Tripp, Microsoft Copilot and compliance. Great conversations there at Pax8 Beyond 2025. Incredible event. Can't wait to see what they come up with next. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Well, what do you fish for when you go?
I've just been doing right from the beach.
Really?
Sure.
What kind of bait?
So it depends on what you're going for. You going for like kingfish or? So I don't take it too serious. I literally go out there if I catch nothing.
You're fine.
I just love looking at the water, and trying to calm down from this rat race.
Right. You get off the grid. Yeah.
But that, just.
What's a kingfish? I don't know if I've ever seen a kingfish.
I don't even eat them.
Really?
I don't eat
You catch and release?
I just catch and release.
Oh, wow.
Just to do something like that. But
it's nice to just get away, though, right?
It's like golfing. Golfing is, I'm never going to go enough golfing to be good. But when I go out, I just want to go have fun.
Turn the cell phone off.
Anything that's less stress.
Right.
I'd say the big thing we do with the family is traveling.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection, powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza Dash MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. Where are you traveling?
We're going to Paris in 2 weeks.
Whoa. Have they ever been?
My kids have. My wife, I took my wife for her 40th birthday.
Very nice.
And last year we went to Scotland, which was such an underrated. I think no one expected how good it was going to be.
Really?
And my daughter was the one who wanted to go, and a lot of it was around Harry Potter.
Ah.
So, like, just seeing the streets, like, she wrote the books there, and
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, just really?
So it's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely traveling's big. I got a big family, so I have 4 brothers, so we spend a lot of time with each other.
Very nice. Good. Yeah. So we're at Pax8 Beyond 2025. What are some of your goals this week, Charlie?
The big thing for me was catching up with existing partners. Also making sure that I, was spending time with the vendors. The way the Rewst platform works is that it's very community driven. So we definitely have embraced the community-led model of how we're going to, manage and grow our business. But that, I think a lot of people always think that just is MSPs, but it's actually the vendors as well. So we do a lot of integrations with vendors. We've been helping the vendors
interesting.
make their product better. So that's always a lot of fun, catching up with people. It's nice to not always be. I've had solutions where you're competing with people all the time,
Right.
and that's fun as well. Like, listen, we're not. Nobody needs to get emotional about this stuff. You go out, everyone runs their own race. But I do love catching up with the vendors here, especially a lot of the partners that I've known for a long time.
How does Rewst help MSPs?
So the big thing is, Rewst is one of these tools. Like, everyone's very comfortable with their tech stack and the tools that they've relied on for years, the RMMs, the PSAs. I firmly believe in what we're seeing. Rewst is kind of that next phase. It's a way that they can optimize their business as we're evolving. Right? You can't keep on, throwing more bodies at things. So it helps them. And I think one of the things that's it was a neat thing that I haven't heard too often, but one of our CEO talks about, and we very much talk about, and it's what we focus on. A lot of what we focus on is that low-hanging fruit, the obvious things that you would automate. So things like onboarding, offboarding, password resets. And those things are great. And so people could quantify, because they do them today, they could quantify what the value of that is. But the one thing that a lot of MSPs can't do is the high-hanging fruit. So the things that they're not doing today, whether they're doing it automated manually, but they're things that they're never going to do. And so to see some of the MSPs, like we have, we're doing our breakout right now with the guys at SourcePass. And to see some of the great things that they do, they look at it completely different. The other thing that we're seeing now is a big, as we're, the product's been out there about 3 years, is we're seeing that the people that were focused on that, hey, let me evolve my MSP, let me optimize my MSP, those are the same people now that are doing automation as a service. So they went from this being, potentially something they looked at as an expense to have the solution. Now they're looking at it as another revenue generator. And, the key thing about that, Joe, is not only, as you've been doing this a long time, is not only are they going to make money, but it makes them real sticky. So could you imagine that end customer, you're automating something that they weren't able to do. You're not leaving for another MSP.
No, they're not.
So we're seeing a lot of that. That's the one thing that you could say about MSPs is there's never the lack of creativity. And so if you look at a tool like Rewst is very much, beginner could use it. We have pre-built automations, but then it's also you could build whatever you want. So if you're that creative type, it's that open canvas. You could do whatever you want in it.
An open canvas, yeah, it really is, isn't it? So what's you've been working with MSPs just so long as I have, 20, 30 years. What's your favorite part about working with MSPs?
I like that they're just genuine people.
Yeah.
And some people may say that's good and bad, like being from New York. I think, you deal with people that are pretty straightforward.
Sure.
Right? There's not a lot of sugarcoating. But
right.
I do love listening to like how they got there, how they built their businesses. They're resilient. And, I do just, I enjoy the fact that you do the right thing by them. There's nothing they wouldn't do for you, and I'd say that's probably all of them. People pick up the phone.
They do.
The best thing ever happened to me in my career is find the MSP space.
Yeah. It seems that Rewst has been around longer. It seems like you.
Yeah, I think it's 4-ish years, but then they went GA about 3 years ago.
I see.
So
I see. Yeah, and it's like you say, it is just an open canvas. MSPs can really create their own ways, their own procedures, their own automations right in this great platform.
Yeah, some of these guys, what they think of, it's just mind-boggling.
Is it?
I remember, and we have an open mic call every Friday from 3 to 4 Eastern.
Wow.
And they come on and they share things that they've built. And And again, it's that community, right?
Wow.
So they're sharing it on there. They're not coveting it, but they're showing them like, hey, this is the way I looked at it, and this is what the outcome was. And it's been those are cool calls to get on to listen to people.
Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today.
Half the time, I don't know what they're talking about.
Is that right?
But it's definitely
They go deep in the.
Yeah, they do.
They go deep.
Really know what they're
yeah.
doing.
I was talking to an MSP yesterday, and they were saying how when their client adds a new user, Rewst is set up that adds licenses. It sets up a whole bunch of triggers that they do. It's all automated. They love it.
They make it just they make it really easy from that standpoint, and a lot of that is just about building predictability, right?
Right.
It just makes your service offering better, and you know most of the techs that work at the MSPs would rather not be resetting a password. They'd rather be building something cool that they could go back and show their management that they just saved them hours.
So I think I told you this. I started the MSP back in the 90s in New Haven, right? And I was working way too hard, putting my health in the back seat. I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. Did I tell you this?
No.
Yeah, I was 340. And she says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me. So I spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds, kept it off, right? You can't look at it as a finishing line.
That's right.
This is a lifelong changes. It's so when I tell people this, they say, oh, what's your secret? What'd you do? There's no secret, Charlie. Discipline. That's how I left it. I have focus, motivation. How does discipline play a role in your life?
You know, I think the big thing is, and this is me, it's just the way I wired, is, you know, you have to be disciplined, especially as things have grown and you have a lot of responsibility, right? You know, I have responsibility to my family, but then I think in some cases, a lot of times I do have a bigger responsibility to the people that I work with, the people on my team, the people that are going through the journey that you and I went through 25 years ago. And the one thing that I think is the big change, and I take this really to heart, is that, you know, we grew up in a generation that, you know, it was, hey, wait for everything, right? You know, if you work for a job, I mean, I worked at Merrill Lynch in banking, and I'd get reviews every year, and they'd say, we'd give you the top review, but then you'd have nothing to go for.
Interesting.
Right? And young people today, they need, you know, they need to make sure that we celebrate their accomplishments. We need to pay them if they're doing the same job as the guy that's been doing it for 20 years. And so I think, you know, discipline is just looking at that, making sure that I'm available, that I'm seeing things, because, you know, when you get to a certain age, you kind of like wired to think a certain way. And, you know, definitely what's going on, you know, in the world today shakes it up a bit.
It does. Yeah.
They think differently, and I think a lot of things that they think are better. Frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. People our generation tends to kind of poo-poo that generation. I've got kids that age, and they're just different. Doesn't mean they're worse or better or worse. They're just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's but I think that's it. You know, it's discipline, and then, you know, understanding. You know, we work in startup world. You know, you look MSPs. You know, these are entrepreneurs, right? It's the same thing with you know Aaron Chernin starting Rewst is. So I got a big obligation to the company, to him, to the employees. So, you know, if you're not disciplined, and then the other thing I've learned to do more is have a little more fun. Right?
Yeah.
I'm having a lot of fun here.
Yeah, your life-work balance is real important to you. I know that about you. What motivates you?
I think a big thing is my family and then my work family. Because, I've been through a couple of acquisitions. I've been really lucky. It took me a while. And seeing how that changed people's lives, people being able to buy their first homes or, put their kids into a better school or even just set themselves up for retirement. That to me is like, if you ask my work accomplishment, I'd say that. Making sure people have equity and, we win together and we lose together.
So given that motivation, legacy, family, how do you measure success?
That's a tough one. It's tough because you always constantly are looking to see how everybody else is doing. And I think it's really it's kind of the feedback from the people that you work with. I have to have a really good leader in Aaron Chernin. He gives me, he knows I don't need a hug every day.
Right.
But he also makes me know that I'm valued. And so I think, that's the biggest thing. If I'm valued there, if I have a team that feels like they can, open up to me, communicate with me, I think that, those are the ways that I manage sex, is just seeing, kind of how my team's doing. As we know, we're in sales and we're, driving revenue. So balance sheet is obviously what we focus on for the board and for the investors. But, I'd say it's more about seeing how the people do.
Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
And seeing how, it's great to give somebody like a little bit more leeway to go do something and see what they do with it.
So your message to MSPs is what?
I'd say from a Rewst standpoint, I'd say, come and talk to us. Let's see how we could help you. We're not interested in just selling something. We're interested in partnering with you to see how this works. And we have we're very blessed. We have a lot of case studies, a lot of fanboys that sing our praises. So we couldn't be more excited about that.
Charlie, I've known you for a long time. I've been dying to have you on. Thanks for having me. Anybody watching
great.
or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
Just connect with me on LinkedIn. Last name's Tomeo. Charlie, reach out for anything that you need. I've got people reach out to me looking for jobs, looking for help to connect with other people in the space. Most of them are usually looking to get in touch with Rob Ray somehow. So, that's it. I have no problem being his admin.
He'll be on later. Charlie, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.